Good evening, Bermuda. Just over 6 months ago, against the backdrop of unprecedented economic challenges, joblessness and violent crime, Bermuda voted for change. As your new government, we heard you and got right to work. Tonight, I want to report to you on the government's accomplishments to date and what is needed to renew the promise and prosperity of this great island. It's been a busy 6 months. I am proud of the way ministers have taken charge of their responsibilities, proud to see the love for their country in action, putting in place plans to get the island working again. It's a great team doing great work for the people. As Premier, I have met thousands of you across the length and breadth of the island. What I have seen and heard has not only deepened my understanding of the challenges we face, but also raised my faith that we possess the right stuff to see us to a new day. As your Premier, I am keenly aware of the hardships and struggles felt by so many. I am also excited by the energy and big dreams looking to break out and change lives. I want you to know that this government's #1 mission is to end the hardships and unlock the potential for the greater good. We will not let you down. We want to build toward a community that is fair and just in all things, where the people have an equal chance to succeed, a community supported by a strong economy that enables everyone to provide for their families and pursue their dreams, a community that is safe and united by our unique life together as Bermudians. I believe this is the Bermuda we all want to see, but there is much work to be done to get there. Your government is embarked on a broad mission to restore and renew Bermuda, to give it a new lease on life. The Bermuda we inherited on December the 17th was in deep trouble, with thousands unemployed, gang shootings, massive public debt, a depressed tourism industry, and a government that had grown beyond our ability to pay for it. The problems that had been growing for years were deep and getting worse. The recent downgrades by international rating agencies only confirmed what the vast majority of us already knew, that the excesses of the past had jeopardized our future. That is the stark reality confronting us today. Our job, as your government, is to stop the slide and start the recovery. We proposed bold initiatives in the throne speech in February and have been moving aggressively on a broad front to address them. In terms of the economy, we are pursuing a 2-track strategy to renew growth while imposing discipline on the public purse. Both these tracks are vitally important, but I want to emphasize that we will never be able to cost-cut our way to recovery. Only by opening our doors to foreign investors, only by attracting more people to our shores, can we achieve the kind of recovery that grows jobs and incomes for Bermudians. This is nothing new for Bermuda. We have always relied on foreign investment to grow the economy, whether through investors building hotels, allies constructing military bases, or international businesses setting up shop. But in recent years, Bermuda has become less attractive to our investors, and we've paid the price in jobs, business closures, lost rents, and lost confidence. We're working to change that, to make Bermuda a more attractive place to do business, with less red tape and more red carpet. The government's overriding priority is to put in place conditions that lead to job creation. I have directed all my ministers to make sure their decision-making considers ways to sustain and create jobs. And I am here tonight to report that we are making progress. Since the December election, we passed a payroll tax exemption to boost the hiring of Bermudians. We ended term limits, which had caused international companies to move jobs out of Bermuda while becoming a barrier to jobs for Bermudians. We established the Bermuda Business Development Corporation to aggressively promote Bermuda as a business destination of choice. At the cabinet level, we formed the Economic Development Committee to reduce the time it takes to get approval for large development projects. The committee's hard work led to the final go-ahead for the multi-million-dollar redevelopment of the Hamilton Princess Hotel, a project that will soon generate jobs for contractors and construction workers. Other projects will be announced in due course. We lowered license fees for the purchase of real estate by non-Bermudians and PRC holders, triggering demand for property sales and new business opportunities for Bermudian contractors. We set up a job opportunities program that will see Bermudians working on the Norwegian Cruise Line ships, with NCL recruiters here this month to begin job interviews. Against long odds and the tightest of deadlines, work crews made it possible for Bermuda to welcome the Norwegian breakaway at Dockyard for her inaugural voyage in May, the first of many visits that will increase the flow of customers into Dockyard and tourist businesses across the island. To provide real-life exposure to job training opportunities for our young people, we've expanded the Career Pathways program to include Year 3 and Year 4 students starting this September. We also said we would focus on raising the standards for teacher recruitment qualifications. As a result, amended standards have been approved for teachers in the core subjects of English, maths, and science. Building on the work of the previous government, we launched a regulatory authority to deregulate and oversee the telecommunications industry. The authority moved quickly to issue new integrated licenses, and its work to increase competition has already seen dramatic reductions in the cost of internet services, benefiting residents and businesses. In mid-April, in a race against an international deadline, we succeeded in establishing Bermuda's satellite slot, an exciting opening for new space-based business, providing Bermuda with a potential new revenue stream. Across all these activities, we have met with multiple stakeholder groups, from fund managers to hotel developers, to create a climate of confidence in Bermuda that we're fully open for business, ready to make things work. 2 weeks ago, for example, we held a tourism summit with a select group of international developers to determine what Bermuda needs to finally break ground on resort development. Significant reform has also been made to the work permit system, making it more welcoming and less bureaucratic. In tandem with this work, to protect Bermudian jobs, we are increasing penalties, cracking down on employers who breach immigration rules. One of the biggest challenges we faced on taking office was a terrible state of government finances, with debt growing at an alarming rate and government spending tens of millions of dollars more each year than it was taking in. This situation was unsustainable and a threat to the very solvency of Bermuda. We have taken important first steps to impose discipline and control on public finances. New rules were issued to all government departments to hold their spending to budget allocations, with ministries required to file monthly reports to stop any slippage. New rules were also issued to manage the debt. We set responsible targets for how much we can borrow and for the cost of that borrowing against what the government takes in. We raised the debt ceiling to set a responsible borrowing limit and implemented a low-interest borrowing plan to finance expected deficits over the next 3 years. A strategy we believe will save Bermuda between $20 to $40 million in borrowing cost. In addition, we appointed the SAGE Commission to review government operations and, with input from the public, recommend changes to make it more efficient, more cost-effective, and more user-friendly. Its report is expected within the next few months. In terms of our public safety challenges, I can report that the work to make this island safer never stops. Our first priority is to stop the shootings. We activated gang mediation with trained individuals working in high-impact areas to calm tensions. We look to expand this outreach following the model of Operation Ceasefire and the work of the Interagency Gang Task Force. We launched a gun bounty program in May in partnership with Crime Stoppers, with a campaign tagline of, "If you know something, say something." Thank you, Bermuda, for saying something. As a result, we've started to seize weapons. We've instituted a Cash Back for Communities program, whereby confiscated assets and cash are channeled back to support affected communities. We've funded the hiring for 20 new officers, providing the police service with the strongest support possible while expanding prevention and deterrence efforts in communities. The Growth and Neighborhood Watch program since December indicates we are making progress. As Bermudians, it is vital that we never stop working to erase discrimination from our shores, and that government spread the principles of fairness and equity as far and wide as possible. That is why the government moved to pass the Human Rights Amendment Act to eliminate discrimination on the basis of age and sexual orientation. That is why we ended the licensing regulation that prevented Bermudian and non-Bermudian couples from purchasing a second property. And that is why we changed the Future Care premium so that everyone who purchases Future Care for their health insurance pays the same price. We also believe it's important to instill a greater sense of accountability and responsibility for our actions. That is why we just passed new financial assistance measures, requiring recipients, where appropriate, to attend life skill programs, take community service, or be assessed for substance abuse. We said that we would improve the island's infrastructure, and we're well underway, with road alignments and widening improvements along North Shore Smiths by Police Beach. We've resurfaced sections of Middle Road, Happy Valley Road, Orchard Grove, and the airport. We also decided to preserve and restore the 150-year-old historic buildings along Albert and Victoria Roads in Dockyard. Tonight, I focused on some of the actions we've taken to renew our island. There are 1,000 things to do before we're out of the woods. It's not going to be easy. There's no magic wand to wave. There's no quick fix. It will take time and patience, with steady leadership focused on the big and little things, with all of us working together, playing our part. Our goal is to renew the promise of Bermuda, to shake off past mistakes and reposition the island to meet people's needs. In the months to come, we will continue pushing forward our agenda of renewal and recovery. We will move toward a decision on gaming. We will launch a tourism authority to finally apply performance accountability to the business of Bermuda tourism. We will introduce plans to extend the school day for the benefit of our students. Having completed extensive consultations, we will also move forward to reform our municipal governments. Through it all, it is important that we make decisions based on the reality of Bermuda today. Everything we are experiencing tells us we must chart a new course forward, doing things better. Everything tells us we must be about solutions, prepared to change what is not working for the sake of building the strongest possible future. For this government, the first imperative is to get out of work Bermudians back to work, providing once again for their loved ones, growing paychecks, and new opportunities. In doing so, I urge you to keep the need for recovery and renewal at the forefront of your thinking, and to remember that nothing will be handed to us on a platter, that we have to work for it. There may be no easy answers. Some issues will ask you to support change that you're not yet comfortable with. Do not give in to the scaremongering, and remember that we Bermudians control our destiny, no one else. What we do is up to us, no one else. We make the decisions, we make the rules. Through it all, we must do our best to work together, to look beyond differences that so often keep us apart. All of us have a role to play in the renewal of Bermuda, because all of us are in this boat together. And until the island gets strong again, we must take care to look out for each other, helping where we can, sharing what we can, being our brother's keeper. A few days ago, I toured St. George's with my colleague, MP Kenneth Bascom. We looked over the rubble of Club Med, the derelict golf course, and some crumbling infrastructure, and I thought, what a disservice to the country and who we are. What a reflection of the danger of losing our way. Then we came to St. Catherine's Beach, and I saw a young woman under an umbrella with a refreshment stand offering food and drink to beachgoers. And I thought, that's the spirit we need. Bermudians in their own ways, taking up the challenge, being resourceful, self-starting, and hopeful. That's the spirit that I've seen all across the island, and it fills me with confidence for the future that we will get this island working again for everyone, renewing the promise, restoring the hope. Thank you for your time tonight. It is a privilege to be your premier. You have my best wishes. Good night, and God bless Bermuda.